Hi, Guido Fox here. Welcome bij Book Report 300. Wonderful news, right? 300 books I read and shared with you, so I'm very proud. It's wonderful. 300 books. It's nearly one book per week since the start of my company. I'm very proud of this work and of this sharing for you. And I want to share more and more with you, so more reports will be coming uh, to you. And that's also my philosophy because the most coaches are not reading any book, are not writing any blogs. So I think I'm one of the few coaches in the world who read books and also proven wise books. I read books, I highlighted the material, and I adapted the knowledge, and then I make a summary, and then I share it, so all the knowledge is in myself. And it's really, really good as a coach to read books for your knowledge, for your skill sets to help your clients. So I also advise coaches who wants to grow in their work, please read books. I see so many flatty coaches who wrote a small ebook and a few blogs and that's it, right? No, that is not it. It is not enough to grow. It is not enough to make money. And it's not enough to also grow as a coach by yourself. I close a little bit the door because it is a little bit windy because no spring anymore. The rain is here in Amsterdam, so the door was open and closed. What I was talking about, a lot of coaches don't read any books. Stay reading for your clients and also for yourself. Work on yourself constantly. You're a coach, so you also want to grow on a constantly base, right? So also you have to work on your personal development. And it's not only helping people, it's not only supporting people and coaching people and making money, but also investing in yourself and making yourself more valuable for the market. So also stay improving as a coach. As a coach by yourself. So that's also what my clients are saying. Hey, you're more than other coaches. You read much more. You wrote much more than other coaches. You're really higher than the other coaches. What I saw on websites. So what I want to share with the coaches who are following me, and I know that coaches are following me. Stay reading books. It's very important to work on your own value and your own personal development to share your knowledge around. So belief, doubt, and fanaticism. Is it essential to have something to believe in? Osho, by the way. Is it essential to believe in something? Belief, doubt, and fanaticism. No fanatism, of course. Doubt, yes. And belief, yes. Doubting leads to wisdom. Stay doubting. And at a certain moment, you'll find true, and doubting will be unnecessary for you. You know your path, you know your career path, you know your relationship path, you know your spiritual path. There's no doubt anymore. But your life is full of doubts, yes. Think about it. about your doubts. Let yourself coached by professionals who are mirroring you, and you can have an external dialogue with the coach instead of always your inner chattering mind, always open to share your deepest thoughts to your external coach. So believe yes, doubt yes for a while, fanaticism no, but it's very essential to believe in something, because if you believe in something, your energy is better. You're more in flow because you know where to go and you know your point B in life. So energy is going to point B. So if you have a goal, if you have a belief, if you're striving for something in your life, you're also better in your energy and you're more a striving and motivated character without any depressive moods, right? So you have a goal, you have a future, you want to go there, and that is also part of your belief. First comment from Osho is that the doubt is continuously going on and on. If you're following, and it's a typical matrix thing, following the normal religions on earth, and it's very, very maybe hard to say to you, but in the normal religious, you're not finding any meditative ecstaticness, relaxing, chilling vibes, moods. The most people are starting with normal religions and they say goodbye at a certain moment, and they become lost. Or they stuck in the religions because they are forced to it. You're raised up by your parents, they had a kind of belief, and you're in the entanglements of society to follow that kind of religion. And or you have your social circle in your normal religions, and that's very nice to have. So what I see is also that a church or other kind of building is a kind of social meeting place instead of a real belief religious activity. So the most people are staying in religions with false arguments, and they're kind of stuck, and they stay also unhappy. They stay in a kind of doubt way of living. They following a kind of religion, but it is not the end of the world. It's not where you go fully attentive going through. It's something what you're doing next to it. And it's not really belief. It is more forced belief, or it's like group thinking and group social activity. But the most people stay empty and angry and aggressive and argumentative and violently, and still unhappy in a kind of in their life, although the social cafe modus of the normal religious will be very favorable to fulfill your social needs. And that can give you some kind of happiness. But the really deep meditation, cleaning, soul, energy of spirituality, you didn't found yet. You didn't found the deep knowledge about the ego, how it works, how your social patterns can be restored, your social behavior, your mental thinking patterns, your way of life in your relationships, in your career, the deeper parts of your mental matrix construct has to be rechanged, has to be reborn. You have to feel yourself reborn, and in spirituality, it's going through happen. So you have to find your spiritual teacher, you have to find your spiritual leader. And maybe you were in that normal religion path before, and it's part of the matrix kind of religion supply, and you have to go through that matrix supply to come to real spirituality. And I say real spirituality because I read 300 books. Trust me. Trust me. I can say I know a lot about spirituality. Trust me. Trust me in my knowledge. Trust me. I read so many books about spirituality, and at a certain moment you didn't found the true and the ecstaticness and the light energy fields in the normal religions, and you're temporarily lost, and then you found maybe some spiritual information, and there in the spiritual world there are a lot of fakers, there are a lot of nonsense coaches, there are a lot of nonsense teachers. So also the spirituality people can be a lot of fakers, a lot of nonsense, what you can hear there. So then you stay lost, and the cafe modus from the normal religious is transferring to the so-called spiritual groups. Be aware of this mechanism, be aware how this principle works. Spirituality is for the chosen ones. Normal religion is for the crowd. You have to understand that. Only if you go the true paths of society, you discover all things, you're coming into spirituality. And the real spirituality, to finding higher frequencies, higher dimensions in this world. And probably if you find your enlightened teacher, you find your awake teacher, you will be shocked. You will be shocked about his knowledge. You will be shocked about his blissfulness. You will be shocked about his awakeness. You will be shocked about his light energy field. You will be shocked about his deeper knowledge about the ego. You will be shocked about him or her if you find your spiritual awakening teacher. You will be for the first time shocked. You have to be shocked because you have to be shocked to step over to a new world. To the world what is called heaven, and the heaven you bring on earth. For the first time you'll be shocked. Before that you were a kind of sheep. You're following the mass crowd in the normal religions because your parents were there, or your neighbors were following that normal religion because you never stepped into spirituality before. For the first time you will be shocked. You will be shocked. Your ego is shocked when you're into deeper and deeper spirituality. And for the first time, page 39, you feel responsible. You're lost, but you also feel responsible. Before the time you were a free rider. You were going to the church. I call church because I'm living in West Europe, right? I was growing up with churches. Before that, you were a kind of sheep. You were following your parents, the entanglements and the triangles of society. We're sitting there, you say amen, and you're following the priest, and you say yes, okay, we drink some coffee afterwards. How is it going with your school and your university, and small talks afterwards? But you were never really shocked. You were never shocked in life. For the first time, you become self-independent. The first time you become a really, really self-independent person, a non-free rider. You become totally by yourself. And that means also that you have to say no to your parents sometimes, because your parents are living in the old world. They're living in the old frequency, and your soul wants to move to a higher frequency, a higher evolutionary phase on earth. So you have to say something, sometimes no, to your parents when they tell you things, because they're still in the old world, in the old frequency. Page 51, you become so receptive female, can I say. If you're higher into spirituality, you become very sensitive, but also have very receiving golden eyes. You're flourishing, flowering, golden, peaceful eyes when you escape the matrix. You become so blissful, so happy, so peaceful, to not have the annoying energies constantly around you, and the small talks and the complaints, and you move slightly through the matrix, and you have short touchings with people, but you don't have to hear all the stories anymore. The mob talks, the mob shouts. You don't have to hear that anymore, and you become light. You're raising up. You're raising up out of the crowd conditioning if you are becoming an awakened person. With no doubt, with no fanaticism, with no aggressive fanaticism, you have to believe. Otherwise, you become in hell. You are sinful. I talked about sinful in the last video, right? You are become anti-fanaticism. I mean, you become disciplined in your meditations. But I'm not condemning people. I'm not forcing people. You can follow me, or you cannot follow me. Mostly people are following me when they are ready to follow me. When they are going through these triangles of the matrix. And I want to break out these entanglements of the matrix. Then you're maybe ready for me. But the most people are not ready for me. And I have to accept that. I have to accept that the most people are not ready for me. 62. The most people are dying at 30. And I read also Osho early, and Evie said the most women are dying at 23. And the most men are dying when they're 30. You see, the energies are leaking away. They're drained out. If you're a female, you can see that, right? And the most men, when they're 30, then the energy is gone. There's no blood streaming anymore. And with women, I see it's going down maybe when they're 23 already. Before 23, I think from 0 to 23, and maybe the top is 17, 18, 19, 20. The women is peaking in their energy. They're discovering, they're curious, they're training, they're sporting, they're learning, they have busy schedules. Women from 17 until 20, 16, 20, 21. They're curious, they're trying things out. The first time they're going to the nightclub, their holidays with their girlfriends for the first time. They're training as hell on the hockey and the football and the fitness, and they looking around. They have the first boyfriends. They are curious. They have something to believe in. They're busy, they're experiencing, they're curious, they believe in life. Men are dying when they're 30. They're not going training so much anymore. They have their job, they're stuck in their job, they're maybe stuck in their relationship. They have the same sex every week with the same girlfriends. They're stuck in the same friend zones. They have friends for years and years, and there's no refreshing in the social circles. They had their holidays already. They had their drugs experiments already. They were going out already so much. There's nothing to discover anymore. Now, people die at 30 or earlier because there's no belief. There's no striving. There's no smiling. There's no discovering. There's no reading a book per week anymore to work on yourself, to grow. There is no inner grow, revolution, shocking in your system anymore. So therefore you die. And then you die when you're 23, when you're 30, you're dying. And the second dying is when you're 70. And then you look back on your life and you think what I did with my life. Was I not curious enough? I had to be more curious. Maybe I had to change my job. Maybe I had to change my relationship. Maybe I didn't follow my real passion. I didn't follow my real path in life. I just listened to my parents. I just listened to the society, what society was demanding for me. Was it ego-based decisions? What I made? All those kind of things are going through your mind when you're 70 or 60 or maybe earlier. So the most people are dying on an early age. That's what I want to say here. And that's what Osho also said. And because they have no belief. So therefore it's essential to believe in your religious, spiritual truth. We stay by the ages on page 112. The average mental age is 12. And this was shocking me so much. And this was also placing all the social behaviors I saw in the schools, in the low schools, in the universities, in the sport clubs, in the friend zones where I was active, and the social dynamics there. The mental average age is 12. And then you talk about someone who's 50 or 60 or 70 or who's 20 or 30. The average mental age is 12 in social dynamics. And when you step out, when you find your spiritual leader, your teacher, and you go into meditation, you go seeing the distractions, the mental distractions of the matrix people. You become clear minded as hell. And you see where you were. You see where you were, in what kind of dynamics you were in the matrix. And you see and you feel it. And everything comes by me. All the puzzles became one picture when I stepped into spirituality and oversaw all the social destructions of the matrix people. I see all those low group talks and hierarchy and shouts and power games of the people of the matrix. The only way you can escape your mental age is 12 is grow. Grow in your personal development and start reading. Start reading about social behavioral patterns. And your normal bookstore is not enough. Your matrix bookstore is not enough. There are nearly no books about deeper spiritual behavioral patterns. Go through my YouTube channel, maybe the first 100 books, and those books are not available in the Matrix bookstore. So please also aware that you can go to the supply once per time to the normal bookstore, but you have to really go online to find more about social dynamics. I should recommend. I'm not doing it so much in recommendation because it's your own path. It's your own spiritual path. But go to Hawkins. Hawkins is very interesting social dynamics books about behavioral patterns. That's Hawkins. Go to my YouTube channel and go searching for Hawkins, and you can watch my videos there. But you can also find online the books about this. There are seven thick books from Hawkins. Page 145. You live in a society which is absolutely a society of slaves. And in the early day, there were slaves and they're working on the plantages, they're working in the coffee plantages, they work on land and you get houses there and you get food and then you work, right? And it was absolutely disgusting that that there was slaves in the world. But still, the dynamic of a free person, and people feel that I'm free. I can work when I want, I can do what I want, I can stand where I want, I can coach people who I want. I'm a free guy. And people feel that. People feel that I'm a free guy. And it is very exceptional to be a free guy. Even if you're a leader somewhere, or you work in a firm, or the first time people become free is with retirement, They have a lot of money, and then they're kind of free. But otherwise, you're stuck with matrix people in your surroundings, right? So you're always going to 100 CL, 100 consciousness levels, and it's very difficult to step out. I know there's a shoemaker here in Amsterdam. Maybe I told you a story earlier. There's a shoemaker here in Amsterdam. He's totally alone. He works alone. He makes beautiful shoes. He makes beautiful shoes. This shoemaker about around my corner, and he's also a free guy. He's strong. He's independent. He's social. You see that he is an exceptional being, and he's just a shoemaker. He's just a shoemaker, but he escaped the matrix. He is so alone. And that's also what Osho was saying. There are so few people who work totally alone. I work totally alone for 7 years already. Fully alone. How beautiful is that? How wonderful that is to be exceptional alone. Because if you work in a cafe, you have people around, you have employees. If you work in shopping, in a clothing store, if you work by a bank, if you work in public transport, you have your colleagues. It's so exceptional to work alone, and that is escaping in a kind of way the slavedom of sitting on the office and going there in your locked up room at the same colleagues day in, day out from 9 to 5 is a kind of matrix box, right? And everyone knows it. Everyone knows it is an unnatural system. And yeah, you have homework now. Since COVID, you can do more homework. But yeah, then you have constantly calls of colleagues. You're interacting with colleagues all the time. So everyone wants to be free. That's my message actually. Actually wants to make more money. Why you want to make more money? You want to make more money because you want to be free, or you want to set up by yourself. You want to set up your own business. So after reason and reasonable your actions, you want to be free. You want to step out the slavedom of the matrix. Huh? So a lot of people wants to make money to become free. So this is a society which absolutely a society of slaves. And Osho is right there. It's still the slaves who were sitting on the office, who were sitting all day, is a kind of slavedom. And you want to escape that, not only that physical construct, but also that mentally construct, right? That's your deepest wish is actually to be free. Thank you for watching this book report 300, and I wish you a wonderful day. Bye bye.